Hi everybody, and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This post is from the subreddit Relationships, and it's by user OtherManProblems. Well, apparently, my 27 male girlfriend of 5 months, 30 female, is happily married with 2 children. 5 months ago, I met this great woman at a bar. She was with her friends and I bought drinks for all of them and struck up a conversation with her. We hit it off instantly and I took her home that night and had mind-blowing sex. She didn't stay the night though, saying she had to get up early for work. Over the next 5 months, we've had an awesome relationship. We went on some nice dates and had sex at least 3 times a week. She only stayed the night very rarely, but I didn't think much of this as she did indeed have to get up early. Anytime I tried to suggest possibly living together, she said she wasn't ready for that yet. Understandable. We did hang out at her place a few times, but just like her staying the night, it was very rare. I just chalked this up to her feeling more comfortable at my apartment since it was cozier. Silly effing me to not question why an apparently single woman lived in a big house. I have Facebook, but I don't use it or any other social media. I think it's a waste of time and she told me she doesn't use it either. Well, last week I decided to mess around on Facebook for a bit and found her profile, seeing as we have 2 mutual friends. Really just acquaintances for me. This is where it gets weird. Her name was totally different from what I had known her as. She's seemingly happily married and has 2 kids around ages 3 and 6. She posts a ton of pictures of her and her husband doing all sorts of coupley stuff, so I doubt they're separated or going through a divorce. She has never told me any of this. I figured out pretty quick that I was the other man, and honestly, I feel physically ill knowing that. I have a visceral hatred for cheaters and I feel just gross that I've done this. I feel so stupid that I never figured this out earlier. Either I'm just an idiot or she hid this masterfully, maybe both. She never once mentioned being married with children, saying that she was single. Even when I went to her house, I didn't see any family pictures or traces of her family. This bitch actually made the effort to hide any indications that she was married and had kids. I feel sick just typing this. I haven't contacted her since I found out, with the excuse that I need to focus on my job for a bit. She was cool with it, still sends me nudes and sexts, and how eager she is to see me again. I responded half-heartedly, but only to stop her from getting suspicious. I feel nauseous. I'm going to tell her husband. This is just so wrong, and it hurts me to know that this man is being deceived by his terrible wife. This hits close to home since my aunt pulled this crap on my uncle, and he is the kindest man alive. Thankfully, I have a habit of not deleting any texts manually, so I still have the majority of our texts. I screenshotted everything so I could show them to her husband. I want to figure out a way to meet him in person, but I feel like he's going to tell his wife, "Oh, hey honey, some guy named OP asked me to meet him for coffee," and that will allow her to shovel some BS down his throat. From his Facebook, I found out where he works, so I'm thinking I could try and catch him shortly after he leaves. I plan to divulge all details of the affair, give him all the screenshots, and for my own safety, explain that I had no idea she was married. I don't know if proof of infidelity will help him out, but I feel like it's the least I can do. I'm still sickened that she could lie to her family like this, so I hope she gets what's coming to her. Some of you might suggest that he has a cuckold fetish, or maybe that they have an open relationship or some garbage like that. Really, what are the chances? Besides, if he really did have a cuckold fetish, I'm sure she would have either mentioned it or taken pictures and videos of us having sex so she could show it to him, or maybe even have sex in his presence. And if they were in an open relationship, I'm certain she would have told me that. No, I'm pretty sure she's cheating on her husband. So what should I do? Should I try and request to meet up online, or should I try and find him in person? To those of you who might recommend telling her, "Either you tell him or I will," hell effing no. I'm not gonna give her an opportunity to weave some BS tale of how she had an emotional affair with me, a moment of weakness or some crap. And to those of you who champion breaking up with her and just staying out of it entirely, get the F out. I'm not going to let her continue to lie to and betray him under the excuse that it's not my problem anymore. I'm not a crappy person. I won't give her a free pass for cheating. Wow, OP, first of all, I think your heart is in the right place and what you want to do is the correct thing. Now, I wouldn't beat myself too much about getting in a relationship like this because who goes into a relationship thinking, what if she's married and cheating with me? It's a good thing you found out, and apparently she was very good at hiding it. Now, regarding you telling him the truth, it sounds to me that you've done all the thinking possible. You've ruled out any cuckold fetish or open relationship, and you know you're not going to give her the chance to lie to him. So the question is, do you tell him anonymously or do you tell him in person? The first option takes you away from any potential harm that could happen to you if he gets pissed and just starts beating the crap out of you, even though you have no fault in this. But the anonymity can take away some truth to it and can allow her to lie to him and turn it around. And doing it in person could put you in harm's way because of what I already mentioned. However, if I were you, I'd think I'd go for the second option, but do it as safe as possible. Like, see if you can get him to go to a restaurant or something where you can sit in public and have a table in between the both of you. I can't give as specifics to this because I don't know your full situation. And what about you guys? What do you guys think about this? What do you guys think OP should do? Let me know in the comments section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. Deleted says, I'd be cautious telling him at work. I'm trying to put myself in his shoes, and I think I'd lose my job if I found out my wife cheated on me while I was working. I think I'd catch him after he's done working on his way out to the car when other people are around. I think he'd be a lot less apt to freak out and lash out at you if he thinks others might be looking. You could also move the venue to a Starbucks or a public place if he has further questions. And OP responds, yeah, that's what I meant in the OP. After he leaves work, I think I'll try and catch him in the parking lot. Ask him for 15 minutes at a Starbucks. Aaron9593 says, I think it would be best to meet him in person because online he might not believe you and write you off. If you do meet him in person though, try not to come off as angry but rather sympathetic so it's not a hostile situation. I would just be 100% sure this is the same woman as you've been talking to before you do anything. And OP responds, definitely. I'm pissed as hell, but I'll keep calm when I tell him. And yeah, it's definitely the same woman. Dragonflies Love Me says, you never know. The guy might have already had his suspicions. It's always better to know for sure what you're dealing with, even if it's not the news you want, than to be in limbo and wonder. Do be careful, but I hope some of the comments here haven't put so much fear into you that you will not end up following through with him. He has the right to know. He can do what he wants with the information. Not everybody ends up divorcing over an affair. I must say, she seems pretty calculating in her actions though. She basically has a double life. And OP responds, I will admit that I was awestruck at how well she concealed the affair. Additional information from OP's comments. I'm sure it's her. The woman in the Facebook photos looks exactly the same as her. Same body, same face, same hair, same effing birthmark. If I had any doubt it was actually her, I would ask her if she had a twin, and she never once mentioned having a twin. She mentioned having two brothers. She actually asked me if I had a twin once because I apparently looked familiar. I don't care if she knows it's me, and if she wants to pull some crazy crap, I'll defend myself accordingly. I'm not gonna let her know I know. That way she can go home at night, spin a lie to her husband, and sweep 5 months of cheating under the rug. F that. This isn't about being a white knight. A white knight would rationalize her cheating and blame it on the husband. And like I said, I'm not a crappy person, so I won't just let this guy continue to be played like an effing fool. Also, yes, the friends that were with her when we met know I slept with her, and they most likely know she's married. I have little to no communications with them, and our mutual friends are different. I'll definitely let her husband know that the friends knew about it. I'm hitting bars with my friends tonight. I moved on already. This time, I'll make sure she's actually single though. I can't control what he does, but I'm putting faith in the man possessing at least a drop of self-respect. No man with a spine would tolerate adultery, let alone a 5-monthly affair in which the other guy effed his wife in his own bedroom and then showered using his lavender gel. Okay, well, the community says go for it, OP, tell the husband, and OP has a game plan. So how about we move on to the update to see how OP did this and how the story ends. Currently typing this from my hospital bed because he beat the crap out of me. Just kidding. Some posters tried to tell me not to tell him, but F that. Most of you told me to go through with it, but through email or letter, basically without physical interaction. Even though it was a massive risk, I thought it would be better for me to explain this crap to him in person, so I decided to meet him. I called work explaining I'd be late, and then drove over to his workplace around 7:20 a.m. Then I just went inside and waited in the lobby, watching the door for him to appear. He came in around 8 a.m. and immediately I walked up to him, told him my name, said I have something important to tell him, and asked if he could meet me after work at a nearby Starbucks. He was perplexed, but I convinced him that it was very important and told him not to tell anyone. He agreed, thankfully. So then I went to my job and went about the day as usual. At 5:30 p.m. I was waiting at Starbucks and he came in shortly after. Then the conversation began. I explained to him that what I was gonna say would crush him and I requested a chance to say my piece without interruption. He allowed this, so I told him everything about how I met his wife, how she used a fake name, the 5-month affair, the lengths she went to conceal it, everything. For my own safety, I emphasized how I didn't know she was married, how I found out about her secret, and how I decided to tell him as soon as I found out. I then handed him a folder containing all of the screenshots. He looked through all of it and then just stared at his coffee in total silence for a minute or two. He then replied, firstly thanking me for coming to him with this information and for doing the right thing. He said if he were in my position, he would have done the same thing. Then he told me how he had suspected his wife was cheating, but then his wife lied to him, assuring him nothing was going on. Then, for the next 10 minutes, he asked questions about the affair, like about the dates we went on, the sex. She would often let me do things that she didn't let him do, the conversations we had, etc. I told him the complete truth. When I explained that she removed all traces of the kids and him when I went to their house, he was like, what the F, speechless. By the end of this, he was enraged, but didn't attack me or anything. Instead, he thanked me once more for telling him and told me I'm a good man. Then he said that although he appreciates me telling him, he told me never to contact him again for obvious reasons. I totally understood and was cool with it. At this point, he was getting up to leave, so I asked him what he plans to do. He said he would definitely divorce her and that the screenshots would help him out since they apparently have an infidelity clause in their prenup. She cheated on him at the early stages of their relationship. I was elated to hear this, wished him the best of luck, and we parted ways. I paid for his coffee. Honestly, I can't figure out why she cheated on him, or at least why she cheated on him with me. The guy is bigger and more muscular than I am, and certainly a very handsome, well-kept guy, and he was very charismatic and eloquent in his speech. So there it is. Thankfully, I escaped unharmed. No injuries, no wounds, nothing. I deleted the cheater's number and cleared my phone of all traces of this crap storm. I'm proud of what I did, and I pray that the cheating bitch faces harsh justice. Good night, Reddit. Signing out. Well, OP, you did the right thing, and now you are moving on. Hopefully she does get what she's got coming. At least those are the husband's intentions, right? So, thank you so much for sharing, OP, and for doing the right thing. Take care. And now, let's move on to the next post. This post is from the subreddit Malicious Compliance, and it's by user Harberan. Months of paid vacation? I'll take it. This happened in Germany, so the laws are different from other countries, especially the USA. I was working for a family-owned business, about 40 employees, a couple of years ago. My time there wasn't the best because I had huge problems with my boss's younger brother. He was on an early pension and officially just working on a small part-time contract, while in reality working full-time with getting most of his salary out of pocket. My hiring meant for him that he just worked about half the hours he worked before, and having a huge pay cut because of me pissed him off, as you can imagine. He talked bad about me behind my back all the time and tried to get me fired. Dealing with him was a pain in the ass, but I didn't have to deal with him too often. My co-workers were nice and the pay was good, so I didn't care about finding another job despite my relationship with my boss and his wife getting worse over time too. My boss even came with me to 2 deliveries to customers because his brother probably told him I would waste time during the deliveries. One day I had to do delivery with my boss's wife's car because the company car I normally use was at the inspection on that day and the timing couldn't have been worse. I scratched the fender of her car on a wall when I tried to get out of the parking spot. The scratch was barely noticeable, but I immediately reported it to one of my co-workers so no one can say that I tried to sweep it under the rug. I did the delivery, and when I came back, my boss's wife was already waiting for me. She went completely crazy, screamed at me for ruining her car without inspecting the damage before, and said that she will take the money for the repair from my paycheck. I told her that I won't pay for anything because the insurance will pay for it anyway, and that's what led her to snap, and she slapped me in the face. I immediately turned around, grabbed my stuff, clocked out, and went to the doctor to get a sick note because of mental stress, which I threw into the company's mailbox in the evening. 2 days later, I got a termination letter in the mail and had to laugh while reading just the first sentence. "We are terminating your contract immediately, or if this isn't applicable, within the legal 30 days. To people who aren't familiar with German workers' law, it's illegal to terminate a contract immediately and within the legal period of time in the same termination letter. You can do one or another, but not both at the same time. So I went to the government office to apply for unemployment and hired a lawyer to sue my boss for illegal termination. Over 2.5 months went by until I got a court date, and my boss was really pissed when the judge explained to him that the termination was illegal and that he had to pay me for the last 2.5 months. But the illegal termination wasn't the only mistake he made. The judge gave me 2 options. I can accept an immediate termination on that day and leave without compensation, or I can have a 2-month salary compensation, but I have to work another month for the company. My boss laughed and said that I'm too scared to go back to work and that it makes him happy that I leave the court unemployed. He didn't look that happy anymore when I asked him, "Why should I be scared? Do you want to beat me as your wife did?" So I took option B and went to work the next morning. My boss's brother already waited for me to hand me the termination letter and made comments about how difficult the next 30 days would be for me. I checked the termination letter, and after seeing that everything was right, I just said that I'm not feeling well, turned around, and went to the doctor to get another 30-day sick note because of burnout. So in the end, I had a 3.5-month vacation with full pay and 2 months salary compensation, and he had to pay for my lawyer too because he lost in court. I could have sued my boss's wife for the slap too, but that would have been too much stress for maybe a couple of €100. Well, Obi, I guess you weren't scared at all. Good for you. I have to say, I would have gone for the slap suit. That's just unacceptable. But anyways, thanks for sharing, Obi. And it's that time that we've reached the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed today's stories. I really did enjoy reading them to you. So if you did, then don't be shy and go ahead and give the video a like. And don't forget to subscribe or even share this video with people that you might think will enjoy my storytelling. Also, if you have the time, go down to the video description and check out all the links I have for you, from our Discord community to my channel merch. And finally, I'd like to say thank you for watching. It really means a lot to me that you enjoy my videos. And having said all that, I'll see you guys in the next video.